come a little bit correct. This video is 5 years in the making. If you're not in the military, you're not a military spouse, you're not married, you don't live in military housing, you don't plan on joining the military, you don't need to know anything about the military, this video is not for you. This is just my experience as a spouse, as a wife, as a mom. I wanted to give myself some time because it started out and it just, as soon as we came in and we hit the ground running, now I'm looking back and I'm like, damn, we about to be at 7 years. It's crazy to me. If you are young and you are married, you know what it's like. It's like, if we make it to 10, then whew, you look at couples that have been together for 25 years and you'd be like, damn. But then you got people that's been married for 2 years that look at us and be like, damn. I have thoroughly enjoyed my experience and so much about the military and about myself, and that's exactly what I want to share with my YouTube channel. My name is Jasmine. I'm looking at my iPad. Today's February 5th and my birthday is on the 19th. So in 2 weeks I'll be 33. And I've been married for 6.5 years. I have one daughter, she's 9. My wife is also a woman. She is 32. We have a dog, Avery, he'll be 3. My wife has been in the Navy for as long as we've been married. Okay, listen, so this is the timeline. We were dating for 9 months and then we got married 3 months after she joined the Navy. We got married on the anniversary of our dating, 1 year anniversary of dating, 7.5 years ago. She was a personal trainer. I was working at a nonprofit. I was the assistant director. It was just like, you know, wanting to pivot in her career. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I wanted to move out of New York. I'm pretty sure everybody experiences where it's just hard to move out of your hometown, or you don't have the mindset, or it takes something really traumatizing sometimes to move out of your hometown. But whatever gets you out, usually people will find the best experience they could have had. And that's exactly what happened to me. We met. We started dating. 9 months into it, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this test, this practice test for the Navy. And I'm like, what's the Navy? Because in my head, everything is the Army, and then the Army has little branches. The only thing I really knew about the military, other than the fact that I had personally wanted to join, was that my really good friend was in the Army. So I thought that the military was the Army, and then you have these branches: the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, the Marines. She takes the practice test and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take the real test. And so I'm like, okay. She got recruited in the gym. She worked in the gym, she got recruited in the gym, which if you are a recruiter, kudos to you, because this guy is just working out and he recruited my wife, like, just by talking to her, and it worked. And that's how a lot of recruiters will get you, especially in New York. Like, nobody's trying to go out of their way to recruit you. They want to make it natural. She takes the real test and she's like, yeah, well, I got a date to leave. Ended up happening was she left before she was supposed to. She left about 3 weeks to a month before she was supposed to. And yeah, that was it. Once it was time for her to go, myself and her mom went. Mind you, I'm just her girlfriend at this point, and we've been dating. We went and we saw her off, and I didn't see her again for the next 8 weeks. I wrote her every single day. She has a stack of letters like this thick. I wrote her every single day, and I'm not talking about like little notes. I wrote her like 3-4 page letters, like, this is what happened today, this is how I'm feeling, how are you feeling, blah blah blah. Because they're not allowed to get correspondence within the first couple weeks of them being there, or they weren't at the time. It might be different now, but at the time there was limited correspondence with their family. Let me tell y'all what happened. I understood because I have a baby. I understood then. But when they gave her that one phone call, she called her mom. And when I didn't hear from her for 3-4 days, I called her mom. And her mom was like, oh yeah, she called me and she told me. And I was like, you know, I was like, what? You called your mother? Like, I'm your emergency contact now. It's all good. Like, she was laughing. We laughed about it. We talked about it. And I personally think that she made the right call, because much like when we got married and it was like a family transition from her home family to our new family, that was the same thing. She left her family's house. We wasn't really even living together. She left her family's house and she joined the Navy. So her mom got the call. I called her mom. All is well. So she goes away for 8 weeks. After a few weeks, I get to speak to her on the phone. She was calling me for a couple hours or an hour every week, I guess. And we would talk on the phone, just update everything. And it's like, we had so much to talk about, whatever she was going through. She had to take a swim test. She had to do this. She had to do that. And, you know, it's just a different environment for her. Personally, I can't imagine. She told me her experience in full detail. And still, for me, it's like, in the very beginning, we decided that we was going to get married. I researched everything. When I say I spent hours and days and weeks listening to YouTube videos, reading information on the government websites, doing all types of research, looking up housing, looking up rent prices, looking up all facts and things that I would need to know about the military. Everything that I could look up, I did. And that really helped me. So when I'm saying things to her, she's not believing me. Like, I had mad facts about what's going on, what's gonna be expected of us, how things are gonna go, whatever. And there's 2 YouTube channels on here that I used to follow. I probably still do follow them, but I used to follow them, and they would go live and they would just talk and stuff like that. But I don't watch that stuff anymore because I lived this life. So it's like, before I wanted to know everything that I needed to know, but now that I live this life, I kind of know what to expect. So this is what I'm here to bring you guys today. So that's the backstory of me becoming a Navy wife. The way that they do it in Lake County where we got married is they marry couples in groups. So it'll be like a 9 o'clock group, a 9:30 group, a 10 o'clock group, and it'll be people standing facing their spouse. One judge is reading a mass vow to a group of people, and everybody's getting married because at the end you come out the room, the next group goes in. So because we were the only female couple, the judge made us go last, and he read our vows to us alone, and he made it really special. And the bailiff, I want to say he's a bailiff, but security, took our picture with the judge. I mean, the picture is interesting. I won't say it's terrible. The picture came out funny because my wife's haircut. I didn't realize the haircut was so bad until I saw the pictures. And I was like, wait, whoa. She left with braids. She had a haircut. She grew it out. She got braids before she left. So I was expecting her to have braids when I saw her again, but she couldn't keep the braids because the braids had got fuzzy or something like that, and she wasn't allowed to keep them. So she took them out, and because she took them out and her hair wasn't long enough to put in a ponytail, she ended up having to cut her hair. So when she cut it, it was a terrible cut. So I met her with a terrible cut. So when I came to Chicago, which is where we got married, and I saw her, I fixed the cut up, but it was still not good, but it was better than what she had. So just imagine. It was better than what she had, but it was still bad. Yeah, so we got married. It was so special. I loved it. The dress was beautiful. Thank you, Fashion Nova, because y'all came through. I look so beautiful. I had locks at the time. I'll try to post a picture of me in my wedding dress so you guys can see it. We get married, and I moved from New York to Virginia. It's not really her first duty station, but she was going to school in Virginia for a year. So the way the military has it, they only allow you to move your family to certain places when you're doing certain things, or you're there for a certain amount of time. If it's a short amount of time, you're not going to be able to take your family. They call it unaccompanied. And if it's a long periodical time, then you could take your family, take all your furniture and stuff. They actually did PCS me from New York to Virginia, not my wife. So what I did was I went to her house and I picked up her stuff and I brought it to my house that I was living in. And then they came and they picked up stuff from my apartment, not my house. They picked up stuff from my apartment and they brought it to Virginia. My wife at the time was still in Chicago. That's where she went to A school, and that's where she went to boot camp. It's Great Lakes. And then she met me in Virginia. We moved to Virginia in February of 2018. We're going to live in the housing because it makes it so convenient. Like, there's no deposit, easy to move, basically. You already know where you're going. You can apply for it. You can see pictures online. You kind of know the gist of what it's going to look like, what's in the area. It's regular housing, but specifically for military. And so we decided beforehand that that's what we were going to do no matter where we went, so that we can make it easy on ourselves and not have to worry about that. And so far it's been working. She was going to school in Virginia, and she ended up going to school there for almost a year. I believe it was like 10 months or something like that, 9-10 months. And I started the process of getting a job while we were in New York, but I didn't commit to it because I wasn't sure how quickly I was going to want to work when I moved. And they were like, oh, when you get down here, you just come in and we'll go through the hiring process with you. And I worked there for the entire time that I was in Virginia. I worked there so long that I ended up transferring that job to California. That was her first legit duty station where she was expected to show up to work, etc., etc. So they'll give you a guideline or a list of rules of what's expected while you're living here, and you do your best to follow it. Don't vandalize these people's property. Note that most of the properties are old or older houses. They do send out memos for everything. Do have routine inspections that they follow. It's for sure once a year, but it could be twice a year. Just come in, they check all the smoke alarms, they check all the outlets, they check the lights, they check the everything to make sure that this is a livable situation. Post stickers on the smoke alarms that basically tell you when they've done their inspection. And if anything breaks or fails in your unit, you call management and they come. If they don't come that day, they will come the next day. Doesn't matter what the issue is. I've rarely had an issue where they don't come the same exact day. Like, they literally send a technician out to fix whatever it is, especially if it's like a water situation, like a clogged toilet, stopped up shower. They usually send a technician out that same exact day. They don't, it'll be the next day. It'll be as soon as possible. There's a whole phone number, a hotline that you call, you tell them what happened, they come and they do it for you, and then they send somebody who knows what they're talking about. So if it needs a plumber, they'll call a plumber. If it needs an electrician, they'll call an electrician. It's not just one guy who kind of knows stuff about fixing things. This is a real system that they have going on. And so that's why we've been able to live in the housing and stick with it. It's because the lights be bright and my skin comes off ashy. When the light looks, it's like... Anyway, so a technician will come out and they'll fix whatever is wrong. I love that. I've never had an issue. The house that we live in right now is super old. You know that. So if you don't want to live here, you're not obligated to live here. Yes, you have a lease for a year, but you can leave when you don't like it. And I don't have an issue with it. It's an old house. It works for us, and I really like where we live at. So the way that military communities are designed, they're like cul-de-sacs, right? So you'll come in through one entrance and it'll be all of the houses, and you go out through that same entrance. There's gonna be like a management office. It's open during regular business hours. You can go in there to talk to people, whatever you may need, pool keys, asking questions about mail, asking questions about your house, or whatever you need. You can call them and they'll answer if they're in office. But you could also stop in there for whatever reasons. And I've never had an issue with that either. And pretty much all the communities we've lived in is the same thing. Other than that, the way that the housing is set up, it'll be for your family size. So it's the service member and their dependents. So their dependents is going to include their spouse, is going to include their children. Each child can get a bedroom, up to the max amount of bedrooms that the installation provides. So if you're applying to an installation and it has 4 bedrooms, and you have 3 kids, that'll be perfect because it's considered 1 room for the spouse and the service member, 1 room per kid. That works out. If it is 1 child and the next dependent is your mom or your dad, then it'll be the room for the child, the room for the grandparent, the room for the service member and their spouse. So we have 1 child, and what that means is we only qualify for 2 bedrooms. Right now we live in a 3-bedroom because the installation that we live on does not have any 2 bedrooms. If you don't want to live in 2 bedrooms, don't pick an installation that has 2 bedrooms because that's what you're gonna get. You only get what you qualify for, and the way you qualify is by the number of family members. I don't know how it works when you're pregnant. I don't know what the course of action is. I'm pretty sure they have something for that, for like growing families, but we're not a growing family. This family is set with the number of people that we have, so we could pretty much expect that we'll live in a particular size house. We lived in 1 other 3-bedroom. That was the first house we lived in when we were in Virginia, and then we went to a 2-bedroom in San Diego, and then we had another 2-bedroom in San Diego. And so we didn't want 2 bedrooms, so we did not pick an installation that had 2 bedrooms. They look at every single thing that you have in the house. Every service person is allotted a certain amount of pounds to move. As you rank up, your pounds go up, so you can have more items that they're shipping for you. I don't know if people max out their pounds, but we've never even come close. And she keeps getting promoted, so we keep getting more and more allotted to us. So if you have a full bedroom set, or if you have 3 full bedroom sets, it will come out some more. But what I've learned, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to make the video, is to not fill up this house with 1, huge furniture, and 2, heavy furniture, and 3, good furniture. And the reason why I say that is because things come up missing in the move. And for the most part, everything gets there, but you never know what's going to break, what's going to be missing. So it's better if you just don't do it in the first place. My wife didn't believe me, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I moved when we were coming here. We had a safe, right? Inside of this safe was our important documents. We had cash, we had important documents, and like currency from places that we've been. So some Dominican money, some pesos from Mexico, anywhere that we've gone that we can get money from, we had like money. So in moving, I took all of this stuff out and I carried it with me because I did not think that the safe was going to make it. They inventory, or you inventory the items once it's delivered, but they didn't inventory the safe. They never numbered it. They didn't put a tag on it, and it was not on there. And I saw when they were packing that it wasn't, but I wanted to see if the safe would go missing, and it did. So the safe never made it to our new house. And so what that taught me was to do what I had already been thinking that we should do. We put air tags in our high value items. Now there's a space on your list of items. They tell you like what's a high value item. Like this TV right here costs $1,200 when we bought it. So it's considered a high value item. We don't consider it high value because it has insurance on it, 1. 2, it's a few years old now. So it's like if the TV broke, we probably would want to buy a new one anyway. So this would be considered a high value item, and things like that would be considered high value items. Depending on who your mover is, they'll tell you like, if you think it's worth something, put it on there. And then this particular mover was like, do you guys have anything that's high value? You probably don't have to put it on there because they don't want to be responsible for it. Some people. So it all depends on you, your family, the movers that you get. If you actually have high value items that they're moving, put it on there, because that's the only way that you are going to get reimbursed if this item disappears, breaks, or whatever. Because things do break in transport and things do go missing. I have a friend who is in the Navy and half her sectional went missing, and so the Navy replaced her entire sectional because they can't replace half a sectional. That does happen, but I needed to confirm to myself the way that I was going about buying my furniture and moving my stuff was the right way. So what I ended up doing is all of my actual high value items, my jewelry, I have shoes and bags and stuff like that. I brought that stuff with me in my car. I kept it in my trunk and I moved it myself. So that's the only things that we had when we came. Everything else had air tags in it. All of the air tags showed up. Nothing was wrong. The only thing that didn't show up was the safe, which was empty. So that brings me around to the furniture portion. Wherever you get your expensive furniture or items from, do not buy that stuff when you are living in military housing. You're going to be moving a lot. Do not buy that stuff. Do not waste your money because it's going to break. It's going to go missing. It's not sustainable. Things that you really care about, you need to be able to move in your car. You need to be able to ship. You need to be able to ship it to the place where you're going. You don't need to rely on the moving company to move your stuff. The truck is huge. They'll fill up this part of the truck with your stuff, then they'll fill up this part of the truck with somebody else's stuff, they'll fill up this part of the truck with somebody else's stuff. So if it doesn't make it, it could be mixed in with their stuff. It could be a number of things could happen. To save yourself the drama, the headache, do not buy things and try to move things with the movers that you really care about. Like, just don't do it. I've never decorated our house with like full bedroom furniture. I have pieces from Amazon, there's pieces from Wayfair, there's pieces from Walmart, Target, Home Goods, whatever. Like, there's all these bunch of pieces that make up what the room looks like, and it comes together. Like the living room, it looks pretty cute. Our couch is like $700. We've had it for like 7 years, and if half of it got lost in a move, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I would just buy another couch, probably from Costco or something like that. And then you work around what you have and you decorate your home. This curtain right here is a curtain rod up, and only the sheer panels are up right now. And it's been like that for I don't know how many months, because the rest of my panels, I have no idea where they are. So we need to replace those panels, but it's been a rough 6 months since we've been here. So it's like, for me, decorating is the last thing on my mind, and I'm doing it as I go. Every community that we've lived in has a nearby elementary school. So it's going to be an elementary school that is in super close proximity to your home, and that's the school that your kids will go to. Of course, you can put your kids in private school, but for the most part, if the school's not like right on the property, which we've experienced, it'll be very close to the property, like within walking distance. And we love that. And it's usually a good school. So we love that. Military kids is the next subject that I wanted to talk about. It's hard raising military kids because you don't really know what to expect if you're not one. And if you are one, it could kind of be different than it was when you were one. So it's going to be a unique experience for every child, every family. What I will say about my own daughter is that she's the only child in our house, and she is well adjusted to being a military kid. That means that she knows that in the middle of a school year, she can be packing up to move. She knows that her friends can be coming and going. She'll meet new friends, and her old friends will be leaving and things like that in the middle of school years. And it becomes like a sort of lifestyle. And I feel like there's ways that you learn to navigate that. I think that it's so important to create and maintain open communication with your kids about what it's like to be a military kid, because it's a unique experience for them. They kind of benefit from life in ways that other people don't, as far as tuition assistance and just having a stable sort of household, and other things that come along with being in the military, as well as their parents, one of their parents is gone a lot. Like, this parent works a lot. They go on deployments. They are gone from the house a lot. They become accustomed to changes. And as a parent, it's going to be very important to navigate those changes in a way that is a little negative impact as possible. Military kids that I've been meeting are so mature. And I don't necessarily like when adults call kids mature, because kids don't have to be mature. Like, it's not a kid's responsibility to be mature, but then you also realize that they grow up in a certain environment, compose themselves in a certain manner. Like, they'll go there, they play pretty independently. They make and create their own friend groups, and then they get into things that are like military kid things. But that's what my experience as a mom is with the military kid. I haven't had any really bad experiences. I do know that the higher ranking officers, the chiefs, and their kids, like, nuts. The entitlement sometimes is crazy. Like, they really think that their dad runs your dad. They treat you like they run you. But that's a regular kid thing. Like, that's something that it just comes with the territory. And also the spouses, unfortunately, do the same thing. That leads me to the holiday party. Holiday party. So the duty station that we're currently at does not have a holiday party. I don't like it. The holiday party is the best. I have a vlog in here that has snippets from the holiday party in it. I believe it's called Vlogmas Day 1 on my channel, and that's the holiday party. We've been going every year since she's been in the Navy, and we've had a freaking blast. We literally look forward to Christmas time because it's so fun. Like a black tie event. It's usually themed, so you get really dressed up and the whole family can go to the holiday party. Sometimes they have the kids in the party, but most of the time they provide childcare at the party so that you can send your child to childcare. It might be, I don't know if you buy a ticket and then your kid just goes to childcare, or you buy a childcare ticket. Whatever the case is, you don't have to bring your kids inside the party, but they're at the party. And then you just pick them up before the end of the party, and then you're done. But that's something that we really come to enjoy as a military family, and something to look out for working. So as I've been a military spouse, I have worked off and on the entire time. I worked 1 year, my first year in Virginia, I worked almost that entire time, and I transferred my job to the new duty station, which was in San Diego, and I ended up working there for like 2 months, and then I quit. I quit because my lifestyle is not conducive with having a job that is scheduled, period. My wife gets random days off, the winter break, which you can choose between this time that you're gonna take off, or you could choose between this time. So it'll be like almost before Christmas till right before the new year, or right before the new year till right after the new year. Now, those are the normal 2 time blocks, and you get to choose between those 2 every year. It's called stand down, holiday stand down. So that's her only consistent break, unless she's away, then that doesn't apply. I've planned at least 2 vacations that we haven't gone on. One was for bad weather, but her work schedule also wasn't permitting. And then the other one, she ended up going underway. Underway is comparable to a deployment, I'll say that. Underway is comparable to a deployment, but it's a shorter time period. It could be like a week, or it could be a day. It could be 8 weeks. It could be any time, but it's short. It's short in comparison to a deployment, which would be months. And she ended up having an underway that she wasn't sure if they were gonna be underway or not. And then come down to the day of the trip, she was home and we didn't go, which I hated, but I ended up losing so much money for that. What that taught me is to stop planning vacations for my wife. Like, I understand that this is her love language. I understand that this is what I want to do for her. But at the end of the day, I was losing so much money by spending my money on these trips. Being a stay-at-home mom, spending my money on these trips, and we're not even going. And I'm not getting my money back. So it's like I was losing left and right. It sucks, but that's really what it boiled down to. And I don't know if it'll change, but that's where we at with it right now. Then I quit that job and I got another job, and I worked that for 3 months, and I ended up getting fired from that job. The person who fired me, she still watches this channel. I think it's so weird, but based on my experience with her, like, that makes sense. It's really insignificant. I was gonna quit. I was gonna quit the week after I had gotten fired, so it was like whatever. So I ended up getting another job. I worked that job for 3 days. I didn't like it. I quit. Then after that, I got another job, and I ended up working that job in 2020. I worked that job for an entire year. And I started all good. It was during the pandemic, and I became anxious and depressed because everyone was at home, but I was still showing up to work every day. I was still sending my child to daycare every day, and I was so worried. We weren't allowed inside of the daycare, so everything was outside. Like, they would bring her out, they would talk to us outside, blah, blah, blah. But it's like this fact that I know I'm still going to work, and other parents who are sending their kids are still going to work. So that means that we're still having outside contact, and we're sending our kids to daycare, and they're all together. So anything could have knocked me out of being able to go to work or being able to send her to daycare. So it was like a really trying time. And so what I ended up doing was taking a demotion at work, which ended up suiting me. It was great. It was excellent when I got demoted. I was doing simple job. I could basically be on my phone all day, almost no responsibility other than to get my work done. At the end of every day, you had a certain amount of things you had to get done and get it out, and that was that. That was wonderful. They started adding responsibility and not adding any money, and so that's what I ended up quitting. I think I left on my lunch break and I never went back or something like that. I send them an email and I'll be like, I'm gonna be out of office because y'all stressing me out, and I never went back. I think I had a job for a long while after that, and we moved. We moved to a different part of San Diego, and I ended up getting another job for a medical company. And I liked that job. The pay was amazing. That was my highest paying job. I liked that job, and it was really fun, but the work was stressful. It was a call center, and I did not want to do call centers again. Again, I'm good at customer service, but I'm lacking in consistency. Like, I cannot show up to do something that I hate every day. Like, no matter how much I want to, willpower does not allow me to show up to jobs that I hate all the time. It's just not gonna work out. And I'm not about to make myself miserable, and I'm not about to make my customers or my clients miserable because I don't like my job. Like, I'm a true believer, and if you don't want to work here, then don't. And it sucks that my family is military, so I never feel the need to be working somewhere. I ended up quitting, and I wanted to get my life together so bad, so I made a plan, as one should. In that plan, it led me to go to Cosmo School. I decided in January of 2022 that I was going to go to Cosmo School, and I went in June of 2022. And I paid it cash, $27,151. Thank you to everybody that donated to my GoFundMe, because I went through so much financial hardship while I was in school. Military Provides is called My CAA. To capital M, lowercase y, capital C, capital A, MYCAA. And it's a grant up to $5,000, I believe, $4,000 or $5,000. And they provide it for enlisted service members' spouses. And they have a list of programs that qualify for this grant. Can you stop? Like I was saying, the program is called MICA or My CAA. I believe it's C5 and below. Originally, I had looked into the program while I was still at my old job, and I was going to do medical coding, which I'm so glad I did not do, because although the program is great and I'm pretty sure I would have done fine as a medical coder, it would have been another one of those jobs where I don't want to work there. I don't want to commit to the schedule. I don't want to work for the company. I don't want to do that every day. I don't want to not be able to. I waited on it. Waited until she was about to be at E6, which she is now. And I went to Cosmo School. So I got the money off, and then I had to pay the rest out of pocket. Either way, I paid that. I went to school. Thank you to everybody that supported me. I have something so special for you guys. I don't want to speak on it, but I could promise you that it's coming. My videos don't get so much views, so I know that the secret is safe here. That really meant a lot to me, and it was kind of a test, because I set myself up to know that my life is going to change in the ways that I planned, and I had to see who was going to be there for it. And that's it, period. You should look into it. Get some money off of going to school. You can go to, if your program is less than $4,000 or $5,000, you go for free. If it's not, then you pay the excess. Like, it's really that simple, but take advantage of it. It's not an endless offer. It has an expiration. I learned about it on YouTube through another creator. I'm telling you guys about it. If you can use the information, use it and pass it along. What we don't want to do is be working at the commissary and working at the neck. Why would you do all that work to leave your hometown to be stuck working at the commissary and the next? Not that there is anything wrong with that, but yes, there's something. If you don't want to do that, just have a plan, and this is something that you can use to get you where you're going. Spouses use the GI Bill to go to school. I have a bachelor's degree, so I did not qualify for the GI Bill at the time. That's why I was only qualifying for this grant, so that's what I used. These are the benefits that you have to you that the military provides, so I wanted to include that in this video. Getting a job through the DoD, Department of Defense, is possible. They have a website. They have all these jobs that you can apply for. And there's so many jobs that's not being in the military that is just adjacent to that you could get. Like, if I tried to work at a company near here, I would be working at Dunkin' Donuts or the liquor store or the gas station, because those are the 3 stores near my house within walking distance. Everything else is like 10 minutes away by car. So it just kind of gives you an idea of where I live and what it's like. Like, there's nothing around here but schools, Dunkin' Donuts, a liquor store, and a gas station. Everything else is a far distance away. So what I decided to do was really get into content creating, which is what I'm passionate about. Everybody thinks that I'm a hairstylist, and I love that, but hair is just one of my passions and one of the things that I'm talented at, like a growing, learning hairstylist. My phone is literally tripping. I wanted to come on here and bring you guys this video because, again, this is the reason why I started my channel, so that I can help people and so I could document my life, and that's exactly what I plan on doing. If you have any questions, you're not in the military, you just watch my videos, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Or if you are a MILSO, military spouse, or significant other, ask your questions down below. You could drop a green heart in the comments to let me know you watched the video. I have storage problems. I just deleted 400 videos on my phone. I have storage issues, and I have 6 terabytes of storage. If you add all of the external hard drives and all of the iCloud storage and all of the Gmail storage and everything up. But I really wanted to make this video. I'm in between maintenances and I'm making this video. Am I even looking at the camera? Where the hell is the camera on this iPad? The job interview, of course I got the job. I don't tell people where I work because I don't be working there for long. I just be working there, do what I gotta do, get what I gotta get, learn what I gotta learn, and be out. My nails is not done, my eyebrows is not done, my beard is not waxed, mustache not waxed, my arms looking nuts. But my birthday's in 2 weeks, so it's up after that. Love you guys so much.